Hello and welcome to our April update here at Revesby Estates and what we've been getting up to on the farm. So we'll start with the weather. We've had a average temperature of 10.3, we've had a low of 0 degrees back in the 9th of April, and we recorded a high of 23.6 on the 30th of April. Now rainfall, I'll be very careful when I mention it. It's been a dry month. We're in a dry period at the moment, just when we need moisture for these crops. We've ended up with 25 millimeters of rain in April, which is half of what we'd normally expect. You'd normally be around 50-55 millimeters in April. So we are significantly down. However, I know we've had significantly more than what other people have had not too far away from here. Some people have been struggling to measure 10 mil during the whole of April. So we're grateful for the rainfall what we've had, although we could do with some more. Now, as I speak to you in this field here, you can see the green rows behind me. This is our sugar beet field. So we're at the end of April now, very beginning of May. We drilled this field back at the beginning of April. So what you're going to see in this video is Zac preparing the land for the sugar beet seed to go in. Then we've got the sugar beet drilling it, and then here we are now sort of 30 days later and we're up in rows. So here we're joined by Zac, who's been operating this drill setup, but we're not actually operating as a drill today, we're operating as a cultivator. So we'll just take a look at what Zac's up to. So Zac, what are we up to today?
We're just cultivating some of the land just behind the office here for a sugar beet coming this season. At the minute we're just altering these harrows, the following harrows usually used to cover up the seed behind the tines. Yeah, we're just going to alter them. These ones, get the pin out. We can alter the pitch of the tines. So less aggressive means obviously less movement of the soil. More aggressive means digging into the soil a bit more, causing a bit more till. So we're just going to alter them all the way in, and it just means a bit more angled into the soil and cause a bit more till. The more till we have, the better the sugar beet will grow. So this land here is destined to become sugar beet. It's had a cover crop sat on it over winter, which has now been killed off and gone. The idea of that cover crop was the roots kept the soil structure open and alive, and now Zac is pulling the drill over it to make the tilth. So this is a second pass over with the drill. Just seen Zac making a few alterations to create it to cause more till. There you can see it disturbing the soil and rakes what Zac just altered, digging in the ground to make our till. That's what the land looked like before he passed, and here is where he has now passed, and absolutely lovely tilth. Nice bit of moisture trap. We've been very dry, but because we don't move our soils around a lot, we've managed to maintain moistures within it. This is being worked now because it's due to be drilled with sugar beet tomorrow. So we just made some alterations because it wasn't quite leaving it level enough. When we do for sugar beet, we need a fine level seed bed, and you can see here how we've got the castellation profile, this up and down, which wasn't quite good enough for sugar beet. The problem is when the drill comes along, it drops the seed in here and then knocks this. We'll get an inconsistent depth of the seed. So if you come here, we can see just here is where the drill was stopped, and
And then here's where we've ran a lot more polished, finer, smoother surface. Absolutely lovely tilth. So this tilth's been created here without ploughing. A lot of people plough for sugar beet. We haven't ploughed. It got a Toronto in the summer, cover crop put in all winter to keep that structure open. Run the drill through it now twice to get the seed bed, and then we'll drill into it. Beauty of this system is it holds its strength. We've not got a lot of air introduced into the soil, so when we come to harvest the beet in the autumn, fingers crossed we don't get the machines dropping down and making big ruts to deal with. It's quite a quick turnaround for the next crop to go in. And here now we see Philip Bournemouth drilling our sugar beet for us. This is the day after Zac's worked it, so we've preserved all the moistures. Philip is here with his 18-row precision drill, precisely places the seed at the exact spacing what the sugar beet needs, because each actual sugar beet comes from each individual seed. Yeah, and going in the tree. Yeah, so the sugar beet went in well, and it's actually growing well considering the lack of rainfall, but that moisture we trap in the soil really is paying dividends at the moment. So now we're going to take a look at myself looking at some wheat and looking at timings of our fungicide applications. So you join me now in one of our winter wheat fields, and I'm in this field now just assessing for any disease pressure which may be in here, because we are approaching one of the main spray timings on a wheat crop, which is T1. So we have sort of four main timings. We have a T0, a T1, T2 and a T3. T1 and T2 are the critical timings really, and that's because it's protecting the upper canopy of the wheat plant, which is going to give us the most photosynthesizing and get the most energy to build that yield. So if we take a look at this wheat crop, I'll show you what we're actually looking for and what these T0s to T3s actually mean. Here we are with the wheat. If we just take a selection of wheat plants, which we've got here, now we're looking for one actual plant, which I have now got here. The main stem is what we're going to be looking at, and then we've got the two tillers on the side here. So we'll discard those and we will concentrate on the main tiller. So now here we are with the main actual plant, sort of the mother plant before we had the tillers. And I would, as a guess, that is leaf 3 coming out just there, which is the leaf we're going to be aiming at with the next spray timing, which is the T1. Because the top 3 leaves, leaf 3, 2 and 1, are our main targets. So we'll wait till leaf 3 is almost fully out so we can coat that, which then gives us a protection window, and then we'll come back again when leaf 1 is on its way out to top up that protection. Now we say we're going to top up the protection. What we're actually looking for now is any sign of disease actually on the plant, to see actually whether we need to rush in and treat now or even at all. So we know what varieties we've got, we know what disease risk we will have and what pressures we're going to have on them, and the main disease we're looking at really in here now is a rust and septoria risk. This plant's actually looking very clean, we've got no septoria lesions on it, and we've got no signs of yellow rust. So what we'll now attempt to do is to show you how we can tell by dissecting this plant at what growth stage it actually is at. So what we'll firstly do is just trim off these bottom roots. Right, so that wasn't easy to do whilst holding the camera and trying to use a knife. So what I've done here is I've split this stalk in half, and now we can see the internals and what is happening within this plant. So when we were talking T0s, T1s, T2s, etc., what we're really looking at is positioning of the nodes within this plant here. So we've got 3 nodes visible here. We've got 1, 2, and then 1 here just on the ear. So when we're talking T0, it's when this first node is dropped off and it's just moving away. Now we're talking T1. What we're looking for is this next node here and a centimetre between that node and the bottom here of the ear where the next node is. So we need a centimetre between there, and we've literally only got a couple of mils, so we're not there yet. When we end up with a centimetre, that means leaf 3 will be out. And like I said, that there just coming through is in fact leaf 3. So you can see it's not quite pushed up enough within the plant. Whilst we're also looking at this plant, you can just see the juvenile ear here. The florets on it already developed, where the grain sites will be in here. So yeah, that tells me at the moment we're not quite at the right timing. So I predict on this field we're another probably 6-7 days away from actually the right timing. So we'll come back and have another look later. And that means we can just keep observing this crop. No need to make a decision on what we need or don't need in here yet, because the weather currently is a little bit changeable. Rain brings in rain splash, which splashes Septoria disease from the bottom of the canopy up. It needs to be moved up by the rain splash. So if we get a lot of rain events, we could well see Septoria, but Septoria is hard. It can have a very long latent period. By that we mean the development period before we actually see the infections, actually see the symptoms. It can be a very long period, so it could be in this crop and we can't actually see it yet. But as we get some warmer days, it will go for its development quicker. And then we're looking for the yellow rust. A little bit of brown rust maybe, but not quite yet. We're looking for the yellow rust in here, which can be quite devastating to a crop by ripping out the green area. So couldn't see anything in here yet, but knowing this variety, we pick a lot of our varieties now down to their genetics being able to fight off a lot of these diseases, and these have got very good disease resistant scores. So I'm not expecting to see a great deal in here, which means we can choose our chemistry to be more of a protectant, just to protect from diseases coming in. The problem with rust is you never know quite which strain of rust you're going to get and which crops are going to break down to it. So you do have to be on the ball and being protecting. So as we stand in this crop, nothing is needed on it. It's looking quite well, quite healthy. It's growing away. So we'll leave it for another sort of 3-4 days and come back and see where we are. So I hope you found that update useful of what we've been getting up to. So we will see you again next month and see what we've been getting up to in May.